What's going on, everyone? So, D'Angelo Russell, right? It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Is he going to be on the roster? Is he going to not? Are they going to end up trading him before the season begins? Do they trade him at the trade deadline? Which, that means he's going to have and be in rumors and speculations throughout the entirety of the season. Now, look, I have been a big defender of D'Angelo Russell. I am somebody that is still very high on D'Lo. Obviously, there are the concerns come the postseason, but I do think you've seen significant strides and just more confidence from when he first came to the Lakers and that first playoff run. And then, of course, running into Denver and just being non-existent to this most recent run where, yes, he wasn't great game in and game out, but he was still great in like half the games that he played. So it's like, is that progress, right? Is that him getting more comfortable, getting more confident, kind of getting and putting himself in a better position? Because how do you play through the jitters? How do you get through kind of just the struggles? Is you get more comfortable, right? You build more confidence. You put yourself in a position where you year in and year out are in that spot. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. It just becomes another day in the office, so to speak, right? Where, D'Lo, before he came to Lakers, he wasn't on these great teams that were going on these deep playoff runs and stuff. He had only been in the playoffs a couple times. So, now being in this spot, it is a real question of like, okay, if the Lakers do keep D'Lo, can he continue to improve? Can he take a next step? Right? I mean, last season he had like a historically great season. Like, and that's not even an exaggeration. No, it was like fantastic. And the Lakers were excellent when D'Lo is great. When D'Lo is on his game and he's playing and he's the best version of himself, the Lakers are nearly impossible to beat. Right? Like every time this guy drops, 17 to 20, the Lakers have like a 90% win rate. Like they are wonderful. And so much so that last season even, the Lakers only won one game without D'Angelo Russell. And that was the game in which Spencer Dinwiddie ended up basically playing the D'Lo role, and he ended up dropping 26, which further highlights that, hey, when D'Lo is on and doing D'Lo things, guess what? The Lakers win. So he is very important. And I do understand the concerns and the ailments once you get to the playoffs in particular, but you got to win in the regular season to get to the playoffs. Right? You can't even think about the playoffs if you can't win enough games in the regular season to get there. So D'Lo is very important and impactful in that regard. And now under a new head coach, right? Can JJ Redick kind of get more out of D'Angelo Russell? Can he put D'Lo in better positions to have more success? Right? We know he can play on ball. One of the best plays in all of basketball was the D'Lo pick and roll, right? And then you add that to his shooting ability, his ability to play on ball, off ball, all of that. He's very versatile. Now, again, I would still prefer a trade either with D'Lo and you upgrade the roster that way, or if you did something with like a Rui Hachimura and let's say you went and got Jeremy Grant. Just use him as an example. I also think that could be even better for D'Lo because right now D'Lo, he's needed to be the third guy. Right? If D'Lo has a bad game, right, unless Austin Reeves is on or somebody else is on, right, if D'Lo has a bad game, the Lakers are usually in trouble, right? Just like when D'Lo is on and he's, giving you his average, the Lakers win those games. But if you were able to get a guy like a Jeremy Grant, well, now D'Lo doesn't have to be the third guy. Now he's the fourth guy. So now the games in which he goes and gives you 17, you're never losing those games. And then the games in which he doesn't and he has his struggles, you still have a real chance to win. Because D'Lo can do other things, but also you have that other guy that can come, let's say Jeremy Grant gives you 15 on a night, right? Well, now you have that 15 a night guy basically coming in who is taking over in the pecking order. And now D'Lo, if he averages, say, 15 a night, right? Well, it's great. You're going to win those games. But the game in which Jeremy Grant gives you 15 and D'Lo gives you 5, you still have a chance to win those games because Jeremy Grant maybe go get you 20 that night or maybe get you 25, right? Like you just have that other guy. So now D'Lo isn't as relied upon. Also, when you get to the playoffs, right? If you are to still keep D'Lo, well, now you have a guy in, like say a Jeremy Grant, again, just using him as an example, that he can kind of step up and be that third guy on a nightly basis. So D'Lo, now he doesn't have as much pressure, right? He doesn't have to be anything more than the role guy, right? Now he can, just make the plays and hit the open shots. And if he's having an off night, it's not the end of the world, right? The Lakers still have a chance to win. It's just like, can you give us something? Well, right now, it's just, there's so much pressure on D'Lo once we get to the playoffs, because it's like, if D'Lo doesn't have a great game, Lakers probably lose. So, D'Lo is just such a swing either way that it's just, you're putting a lot of pressure on a guy that, just hasn't had to have that level of pressure on a regular basis, right? And he ends up being the scapegoat, and I'm sure it doesn't help that fans are, blaming him for everything, and, and then he's losing confidence. It's just, it's, you see it with even top players can lose some confidence and sway, and all of a sudden you just see the difference, right? But at the end of the day, D'Angelo Russell is an excellent player. In my opinion, right now, the way the Lakers are currently constructed, he is the third best player on the Lakers. Now, Austin Reaves, I think that there's a real argument for it, but I think D'Lo does most things better. He's a better playmaker. He's a better volume shooter, especially on efficiency. He's a little better. Reaves is more crafty and creative in his shot selection. He's also a better difficulty shot maker, but D'Lo is just the better natural, just shooter. Spot up, knock it down, right? Again, better playmaker. Reaves has been better defensively, although last year, for the most part, D'Lo was the better of the two. But Reaves, when he's kind of locked in and engaged, he is the better defensive guy. So I do think that there are pros and cons with either of the two. But I also think that just D'Lo is the bigger upside guy, right? When D'Lo's playing his best game, he just does more and impacts more than Austin Reaves does. Austin Reaves goes and gives you 20. The Lakers still lose those games quite often. When D'Lo gives you 20, you win, because he's usually doing it on better efficiency. He's usually hot, shooting the lights out. He's also making plays. He's feeling himself, right? He's all of a sudden in his, Magic Johnson mode, and he's out here just doing these no-look passes. And you really start to see the confidence begin to build. So I look at D'Lo as I think he is the third most important piece right now on the Lakers, but also you're almost in your best interest to move off of D'Lo if you're going to move off of him, right? Because you don't want to kill the kid's confidence. And look, D'Lo wants to be a Laker. All indications have shown he wants to be a Laker, but he also doesn't want to keep being the scapegoat, and he doesn't want to have to keep, on top of that, have no security. Where it's like, oh yeah, we're actively trying to trade you, buddy. From the moment you got here, we've been actively trying to trade you. And he still showed out, and he still delivered. I think D'Lo is a very important piece. I'm not saying you don't trade him. I'm not saying he's untradeable. I'm not saying anything like that. Obviously, if you can get an upgrade and you can just get a better team overall, and especially with Austin Reaves, the Lakers aren't going to trade Austin Reaves. However you feel about that. Look, I was in the camp of trade Austin Reaves. I don't want you to trade him just to trade him. Austin Reaves is still a very good player. However, I do think if the right deal is there, right? I was in the camp of trading him for DeJounte Murray because I thought D'Lo could easily slide over to the two. He showed his ability to play off ball. He can knock down the open shot. His shooting ability alongside a guy like a DeJounte Murray, and then, LeBron James and all that stuff, I just think would be very valuable. But again, it's got to make sense. To me, if you're going to trade D'Lo, it's got to be the right trade that really makes sense and makes the roster better. You don't really want to trade D'Lo and give up assets and everything for a lateral move, right? Unless it's just, maybe a better long-term move, right? Maybe it's a younger guy or something, right? But to me, it's just trade D'Lo if the right piece is there. Otherwise, keep D'Lo and instill some confidence in him. Still some belief, let him cook, right? But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Are you high on D'Lo? Do you think D'Lo could take another step for the Lakers this upcoming season? Or do you think, he's kind of who he is? Like I said, he took strides between the previous year and last year, right? Can he continue to take strides? Can he continue to improve? Can he continue to get better? Or is he kind of like, does he regress? Does he kind of stay where he's at? Which, even if he stays where he's at, still a very good player, right? But, how do you feel about it? Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.